Welcome to Show-Off Showdown! In this series, the fighters are called Show-Offs, and this is the series for the Show-Off Showdown! Now let's meet the Show-Offs for tonight's showdown, shall we? Tonight, get ready to turn up the heat! Because tonight, we have a blazing hot, flame-throwing battle between Pyro vs. Torch! Who's gonna fire up the competition first? Well, let's find out! I put links to the analysis on both characters in the description below. Now without further ado, it's time for the Show-Off to Showdown!
Get ready for the next battle.
All the other kids with the bumped up kisses better run, now run my gun. All the other kids with the bumped up kisses better run, faster than my bullet. All the other kids with the bumped up kisses better run, now run my gun. All the other kids with the bumped up kisses better run, faster than my bullet.
Wait, stop! Please don't kill me! I never intended to harm you, I swear! I am trying to end the festival!
What do you mean?
I was going to use your ship to destroy the rich assholes that run our society and save my people from the horrors of this yearly festival!
That Rick! We gotta kill her! Kill her!
Whoa.
Kill her!
If you're about to go do what I think you're about to go do, I'm going to have to stop you.
So you're going to shoot me, huh? Well, the only person who shoots me is me! Good luck trying to shoot me when I'm already dead!
You are a whole new level of stupid.
Ah, but who is stupider? The one trying to kill himself or the person trying to kill the person trying to kill himself? That's what I thought.
How dare you!
We playing with fire and enemies will get burned. Who you gonna talk to? It's your turn. It's your turn. It's the F-I-R-E. Fire, fire. Who you gonna be? It's the F-I-R-E. Fire, fire. Bring that heat.
Checkmate. あ、すまん。いや、わざとじゃないんだよ。寸止めしようと思ったら勢いでぶつかっただけで。あ。
Let's get beautiful. Why don't you kneel?
You little...
All these years I blamed myself, and it was you! You killed her! Killed her? She's not dead! She went where I was supposed to go, where you could have gone! Make sense right this second, or I swear I'll execute you where you stand! I told you to pull out the sword, I told you! Where is my mother? Avalon! It's not a myth, don't you get it? You'll never understand. I'm wasting my breath. From this moment, your every breath is a gift from me. 血のバラ咲かせてあげる。はいはいはいった沈め。
Help!
only human.
Dodge this.
Well, looks like Pyro just got fired! Now let's discuss how and why Torch wins this scorching hot flame-throwing showdown. First off, let's discuss who is more skilled and experienced. Now I think most of us already know that Torch has a lot more experience, and I'm not going to repeat the same reason why, because I know you're all sick of hearing it. Anyway, when it comes to fighting skill, Pyro and Torch are both very skilled in both long-ranged and close combat. Not only that, but Pyro and Torch are both very brave, cunning, strategic, and intelligent in their own rights. Although, one of the downsides for Pyro is that behind the mask, Pyro seems to see the world around him in a much different way than we do. In fact, it's quite possible that Pyro might actually be considered a psychopath. In fact, if you've seen what happened in the Meet the Pyro trailer, you'll know what I mean. As a matter of fact, the basic definition of a psychopath is a person suffering from a chronic mental disorder with abnormal or violent social behavior. And I think Pyro's actions seen in that trailer fit that description quite well. Okay, I'm glad I got that covered. Now let's discuss speed. Now Pyro and Torch are both capable of reacting to and dodging speeding arrows, bullets of many different sorts, and even rockets. So they should be roughly closely matched when it comes to speed. Now let's discuss strength. Now both characters haven't shown that many feats of physical strength, as they are mainly reliant on their weapons. Although it is worth noting that Pyro once mutilated a Russian bear with a fire axe and sent bone shards flying everywhere. Also, Torch has too been able to take on foes much larger and more physically imposing than herself, just like Pyro has. Now let's discuss durability. Now Pyro once fell off of a tall central tower and only sustained very slight injuries. Now if we assume that Pyro is more durable than Scout, and scale him to Scout's level of durability, Scout once survived being in the epicenter of 3 rocket blasts all at once. Assuming those rockets landed directly on Scout upon impact, this feat should be estimated to be somewhere around large building level. Now in comparison, Torch is durable enough to survive massive explosions very similar to what Scout has survived, or possibly even bigger than that. In fact, Torch has once tanked an explosion of time energy from Deja Vu without a scratch. So I think it's safe to say that Torch has at least a slight edge in this category. Now let's discuss weaponry. Now as most of us know, Pyro and Torch are both well known for firing things up with their signature Flamethrowers. Now before we discuss that, I would like to point out that Pyro and Torch both have at least 3 different main weapons or attacks. For starters, Pyro's 3 main weapons include his signature Flamethrower, a standard shotgun, and his trusty fire axe. Pyro has a few different axes, and his 2 strongest ones would most likely be his fiery volcano axe and the 3rd degree, which is a futuristic axe that was stated to burn each molecule as it cleaves an enemy mercenary, which is just as devastating as it sounds. I assume the effects will be similar to getting slashed by a lightsaber. Anyway, now as for Torch, her 3 main weapons consist of her signature Flamethrower, her lucky flaming horseshoe, which sticks to enemies, does damage over time, explodes upon wearing off, and even comes to life when ignited, somehow. And last but not least is Torch's fiery hair. Torch is capable of whipping her hair around like Shantae or Willow Smith. I apologize for that. Anyway, now let's talk about the Flamethrowers. Now, not only does Pyro's Flamethrower do exactly what you think it does, but it can also release a compression blast to reflect projectiles and knock back enemies at a close range. Now, it is true that Pyro once set an entire small town on fire, although it was never directly stated exactly how long it took him to do so. Although, I think it's safe to say that the attack potency and/or destructive capability of Pyro's Flamethrower can be estimated to be at roughly large building level. Now, as for Torch, her Flamethrower is too capable of firing a large blast radius of fire at a very similar level to Pyro's Flamethrower, and her Flamethrower can also set the ground on fire, instantly igniting and damaging anyone who touches it. Not only that, but with Torch's Soul Gem ability, she can activate a secret special mode called the Incinerator, where Torch creates the ultimate Flamethrower, and her flames become much more massive and devastating than before, basically annihilating any enemy in her path. And considering that Pyro can be set on fire by enemy Pyros equipped with the exact same Flamethrower as himself, I think it's safe to say that the Incinerator would pretty much reduce Pyro to a pile of ash almost instantaneously. Oh, and not to mention, I think it is very important to know that Pyro's Flamethrower has limited ammunition, which will literally burn up if the fight lasts long enough.
while on the other hand, like every other Skylander, Torch's Flamethrower pretty much has unlimited ammunition, which will be quite a big problem for Pyro when and if he runs out. Now before we move on to the next category, I like to discuss fire temperature. Now exactly who has the hotter fire, you may ask? Well, let's find out. Now believe it or not, the hottest flamethrower was set to burn at a temperature of about 2000 degrees Fahrenheit, or roughly 1093 degrees Celsius. Now as for Torch, if she uses her flamethrower for a continuous amount of time, her flames will become so hot they turn blue. And you know what they say? The hottest flame burns blue. In fact, blue fire was set to burn at a temperature of about 1500 degrees Celsius, which is over 2700 degrees Fahrenheit. So, if we compare the two temperatures, I think it's pretty clear who has the hotter firepower. Now let's discuss feats. Now Pyro and Torch have both faced a lot of very tough, challenging, and dangerous threats, such as other highly well-trained fighters with skills to match their own, and not to mention entire armies of combat robots that were designed to be superior, which is debatable. Anyway, one of the greatest feats in Team Fortress 2 would be the time the red team took on a giant man-eating bread monster with tentacles. Now while it is true that Pyro managed to land a good scorch on the bread monster, not only was this a team effort, but even as a team, they were actually all struggling to defeat the bread monster. It's a good thing they had that bomb, otherwise they would have been toast. Anyway, now as for Torch, while it is true that Torch is just a regular core Skylander, which means she's among the lowest or weakest class of Skylanders, but that doesn't mean she hasn't achieved greatly impressive feats worth noting. Now exactly what are her most impressive feats, you may ask? Well, for one, Torch has once went toe-to-toe with Deja Vu, a Skylander who has time manipulation powers. Now while it is true that Torch lost that fight, but she still put up quite a fight before she was knocked out by that explosion of time energy. And after that, Torch congratulated Deja Vu and wished her luck in the next tournament round. Now enough about Deja Vu. Let's discuss what may be Torch's greatest and most impressive feat. Believe it or not, according to Torch's backstory, Torch has actually fought and killed an entire ice dragon, which I imagine would look something like this. Not only that, but that ice dragon was said to be powerful enough to freeze Torch's entire home village into a massive ice glacier. And not to mention, the ice dragon also froze all of the fire dragons that were protecting the village as well. And Torch has actually took on and defeated that dragon all on her own. And this was before she even became a Skylander. So in terms of who has faced greater threats or achieved greater feats, I think it's safe to say that Torch wins this by a hot streak. So overall, while this is a fairly close match depending on how you look at it, I think most of us can agree that Torch definitely has the firepower to win this battle. So in the end, looks like Pyro will be sitting in the hot seat. The winner of this battle is Torch. Oh, and by the way, speaking of one of tonight's combatants, if any of you want to find and meet me on Team Fortress 2, I'll give you a link to my Steam page, Portal Master Andrew, in the description below.
Got any ideas for Show-Off Showdown? Then let me know in the comments below, and hopefully, I just might do them. Now stay tuned for the next episode of Show-Off Showdown!